Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Madeline and today I am here to bring you the Fall Time Cozy Time book tag. This tag was created by Sam from Sam's Nonsense and I was tagged by my friend Jill over at Midnight Reads. I've seen this tag going around the past couple of years and I'm really excited that Jill tagged me to do it because I love fall and I've been looking to do more kind of fall-esque videos. So I've got my pumpkin candle burning, I've got my mug here, and I have this sweater, nice fall red lips, so I think I'm ready to go ahead and get into the questions. I'm literally just drinking water out of this because I'm so over caffeinated today that I could not do any more caffeine. Question number one is crunching leaves. The world is full of color, so choose a book that has reds, oranges, and yellows on the cover. This was an easy one for me. I decided to choose a recent purchase of mine, and that is Furthermore by Tahereh Mafi. This cover just has the most gorgeous fall colors. The basis of it is like this purplish reddish maroon kind of shade, and then we've got tons of orange and yellow and brown and tan. I just love this cover. It's beautiful, and I'm sure that the writing in here is just as beautiful, judging by Tahereh Mafi's past work. The next question is cozy sweater. It's finally cold enough to don warm and cozy clothing. Which book gives you the warm fuzzies? And there are many books I could have picked for this question, but I had to go with, of course, The Start of Me and You by Emery Lord. I've talked about this book a couple times on my channel, but probably not as often as I should, considering how much I love it. I hear a decent amount on BookTube about Emery Lord's other two novels, but I think this is far and away her best, and I don't really hear anyone ever talking about it. And I don't know why, because I freaking love this book. This story follows our main character, who's a girl named Paige. She is a junior in high school, and about a year and a half ago, her boyfriend of only a couple months died in a tragic accident, and ever since then, she's kind of been the object of pity from almost everyone in her small town. So she decides that for junior year, she's gonna stop moping, she's gonna start being more social, she's gonna join some clubs, she's gonna do better in school, she's gonna make new friends, and she's gonna get herself a boyfriend, all this stuff. So this book kind of chronicles her trying to accomplish all of those tasks, and it kind of sounds a bit frivolous, and I don't know, it sounds very like surface level, but this book dives into some really deep, important things, and I think the discussion of grief in this book is incredibly important, and like, just the main character Paige and her friends are so amazing. One of the reasons I love this book so much, I think, is because the friend group in here reminds me so much of my group of friends in high school, so reading this book feels so nostalgic to me. The journey that Paige as a character goes on throughout the course of this book is just incredible, and I just think that more people should read this book because it's so great. The characters are amazing, awesome female friendships, the most adorable romance. I think that all like book nerds will love this romance because a lot of it takes place in an English class, and you guys, this book is just so good and it has so much heart and so much depth, and I think you should all pick it up this fall because it is amazing. The next question is Fall Storm. The wind is howling and the rain is pounding. Choose your favorite book or genre to read on a stormy day. So my favorite genre to read kind of in the fall and winter when it gets colder, and especially when it's raining outside, I have two favorites, and those are fantasy and historical fiction. Those two are my favorite genres kind of in general, but I find that fantasy and historical fiction books tend to be the most atmospheric, and so I think that they're perfect to read during a storm. I have a couple to recommend to you guys. My number one pick would probably be A Great and Terrible Beauty by Libba Bray. My copy is very well loved, as you can see. It has been rained on many a time. This is pretty much my number one like book prized possession because it's signed by Libba Bray, and if you know me at all, you know that this trilogy is one of my all-time favorite series. I think this is the perfect book to read during the fall and winter, particularly during a storm, and it kind of blends the two genres that I mentioned before of fantasy and historical fiction. This is set in Victorian London, and it's set at a private boarding school for girls. Our main character, Gemma, has recently started going to this school because she was living in India with her family and her mother was killed in a very bizarre accident that she witnessed, and ever since then Gemma has been having strange dreams, and she kind of finds that she holds a special kind of magic and can actually gain access to another world called the Realms. And this book is just super atmospheric, like I kind of said before. If you've read The Diviners, This is a little bit less creepy than that, but it still has all the same like dark feelings about it. You'll be completely immersed in this world when you're reading this series, and Jim is just one of my all-time favorite characters, and I love it so much. I do have a couple other honorable mentions for this question though, and those would be The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, and Burial Rites by Hannah Kent. I think all these would be perfect to read during a rainy day because they're all super duper atmospheric and just suck you right into the world and the story, and love them so much. All some of my favorite books. The next question is Cool Crisp Air. Who's the coolest character that you'd like to trade places with? This was a difficult question for me because, as I'm sure a lot of you guys know, many of the protagonists of my favorite books, and just like many of the protagonists of the books that are the most well-loved by the online book community, lead very difficult lives, and I really don't think that I am strong enough to go through any of the things that any of my favorite characters have gone through. But I decided to go with Hermione Granger. I would love to switch places with Hermione. One, because she's amazing and she's married to Ron. Number two, Wizarding World. I just want access to the Wizarding World. That is all I want. Next question is Hot Apple Cider. What underhyped book do you want to be the next big thing? For this question, I have decided to go with one that will be no surprise to you if you've been watching my channel for a while. I haven't mentioned this book in a couple videos, so some of you new reviewers might not know about my obsession with and love for this book, but everyone who knows, just go ahead and say it with me. Black Iris by Elliot Wake, published as Leah Rader. If you have not heard me rave on and on about this in every other video, this is a new adult romance, also definitely has thriller elements to it, and I don't want to say too much about the plot because I think that this is definitely a book that it's best to go into blind, but this is one of the darkest books that I've ever read, if not the darkest. But this book deals with topics of mental health, it deals with topics of struggling with your sexuality, it deals with just a lot of things like that, and it dives into some really deep, dark stuff and kind of like the darker side of humans, and there's this really effed up revenge plot that's going on top of all of it, and when like the big reveal happens, you're kind of like, I was like taken aback. I was completely shocked. And I just want this book to be more popular because I know people who have read it and loved it on BookTube, and we all talk about it all the time, but I want like everyone to read this book. If you like thrillers and if you like new adult, definitely hop on this as soon as you can. The next question is Coats, Scarves, and Mittens. The weather has turned cold and it's time to cover up. What is the most embarrassing book cover that you like to keep hidden in public? Now, I read most of my books on my e-readers, so this isn't a problem that I have to deal with often. The closest answer that I could come up with was the Saga series by Brian K. Vaughan and Fiona Staples. So this is a graphic novel series, and none of the covers are like particularly offensive or anything. I just get the weirdest looks whenever I read graphic novels in public. Like, people judge you so hard for reading graphic novels or comics because I think there's still like a societal perception that it's like super weird. What just happened? I love this series though. I think it's a great graphic novel series, but I will admit I get a little bit apprehensive whenever I am reading a graphic novel in public. And this series in particular because it's like a sci-fi graphic novel, just because people judge you pretty hard. The next question is Pumpkin Spice. What's your favorite fall time comfort food or foods? As far as food goes, I would probably say pumpkin pie, just because I love a good pumpkin pie, just pie in general in the fall, like a good apple pie, a good pumpkin pie, all great choices, but definitely during the fall I find myself returning to one beverage more often than others, and that would be a chai latte or a dirty chai. I love chai tea so much, and I gravitate towards it particularly in the fall because it just has that spicy flavor to it, and I love dirty chais as well. If you don't know, a dirty chai is espresso or coffee and the chai tea and milk, and it's so good. Almond milk dirty chai is like my go-to at every coffee shop in the fall. The last question is Spread the Cozy Warmth. Who do you tag? And I actually thought of people to tag before I started filming this video. I'm very proud of myself. So I'm gonna tag Emily from Possibly Literate, Julie from A Girl and a Book, Michaela from Bookish Branches, and Sammy from Bookish Sammy. Hope you all do this tag. If you've already done it, I'm I'm sorry I didn't check that. That is gonna do it for this video, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you very soon in another video. Bye!
Put your dreams away for now. I won't see you for some time. I am lost in my mind. I get lost in my mind.